For decades, we've all followed the same simple rules for password security, right? But what if I told you that entire rulebook is now, well, it's obsolete? What if the very defenses you've been told to rely on are actually being used as weapons against you by AI? We really need to talk about this because the game has fundamentally changed and your organization's most critical assets are right on the line.
You know, at the heart of pretty much every organization, there's Active Directory. You got to think of it as the digital skeleton key to everything. It's not just a list of users, it controls who gets into every single door. And that, of course, makes it the #1 absolute bullseye for any attacker out there.
And for years, we've been defending it with the same old set of locks. You know the drill. Password complexity rules, those mandatory 90-day rotations, just basic security hygiene. These have been the standard, the accepted best practices that we've all leaned on for a long, long time.
But here's the thing. While we've been busy polishing those same old locks, the attackers, well, they've traded in their crowbars for supercomputers. Generative AI isn't just some new tool in their toolkit. No, this is an evolutionary leap in how passwords get broken.
So the target hasn't changed one bit. Active Directory is still the crown jewel. What has changed, and changed dramatically, is the speed and the sheer sophistication of the attacks coming at it. And this isn't some far-off future threat. This is happening right now, today.
What used to take elite teams, tons of time, and massive computing power is now, well, it's available to almost anyone. Generative AI has basically democratized sophisticated password cracking. It's made it cheap, incredibly efficient, and just dangerously effective.
So meet the new weapon of choice. Tools like PassGAN. This thing doesn't just guess from a dictionary. No, it learns. It sifts through billions of real-world passwords from past breaches to understand our patterns, our weird little quirks, and all the predictable ways we try to be clever with our passwords.
And the results are, well, they're staggering. Get this. Recent research shows that PassGAN can crack over half of common passwords in less time than it takes to brew a cup of coffee. We're talking less than 1 minute. Just let that sink in for a second.
Oh, and it gets worse. Of course it does. These AI models are constantly learning, hitting 81% of common passwords within a month. But here's the truly terrifying part. They can be customized. An attacker can feed an AI your company's website, your employees' LinkedIn profiles, and old breach data to create a custom-made, highly targeted attack that knows exactly how your people think.
So how on earth does it work? Well, this isn't just about throwing more processing power at the problem. It's about a fundamentally smarter approach. AI isn't just randomly trying keys in the lock. It's studying the mind of the person who made the lock in the first place. And this really shows you the difference, right? Old-school attacks were slow, they were noisy, just churning through massive word lists and random combinations. AI, on the other hand, it sees the subtle patterns humans use, like walking your fingers across the keyboard or swapping an A for an at, and it focuses all of its energy on the most likely guesses first. It's the difference between a sledgehammer and a surgical laser. So let's say an attacker gets an old password from a different breach, something like summer 2024. The AI doesn't just try adding a 1 to the end. It thinks like a person. It intelligently tests for those predictable human updates, like, maybe they just changed the season and bumped the year up. It basically thinks like your laziest employee.
The AI boom has also supercharged the hardware available to these guys. The same powerful GPUs that are used for building AI models are absolutely perfect for cracking passwords, and they're more powerful and easier to get than ever. An attacker can literally rent a whole cluster of these for as little as $5 an hour, giving them the kind of computing power that was state-of-the-art just a couple of years ago.
Okay, so here's the crucial point, the real kicker. The very security policies we all designed to protect ourselves, they are now creating the exact, predictable patterns that AI is perfectly designed to exploit.
I mean, just take this classic example. Password 123. Does it meet all the complexity requirements? Let's see. Uppercase? Check. Lowercase? Check. Number and a symbol? Check and check. It ticks all the boxes. But is it resistant to an AI model that's been trained on millions of breached passwords just like it? Absolutely not. That pattern is so obvious it's practically screaming to be cracked. And that mandatory 90-day password rotation policy we all have, it's actually making things worse. It forces users into those simple sequential updates we were just talking about, bumping up a number, changing a season.
For years, we've been inadvertently training our users to create passwords that are a piece of cake for an AI to get.
And this is exactly why this matters so much. According to Verizon's big annual data breach report, which is kind of the Bible for this stuff, nearly half of all breaches involve stolen credentials. Now, you might be thinking, but we have multi-factor authentication. And that's great, but a weak password is still a gaping hole in your defenses. It's a starting point that attackers are absolute experts at exploiting.
Okay, that was a lot of doom and gloom, I know. It's a huge problem. But the good news is, there is a clear path forward. It's just time to move beyond ticking those simple compliance boxes and start adopting policies that reflect the reality of this new AI-powered threat.
So, what really matters in this new world? It's not about that old idea of complexity anymore. It's all about length and randomness. An 18-character passphrase, even if it's made of simple words, is exponentially harder for an AI to guess than some short, complex password that just follows a tired old human pattern.
But you know what? Forget length, forget complexity, just for a second. Here is the single most important factor. The number one question you have to ask is this: has this password ever been seen before in a data breach? Because if an employee is using a recycled password, it is game over. The attacker doesn't even need to crack it, they just look it up on a list they already have.
So the modern playbook for this is actually pretty simple, but it's powerful. Step 1, enforce length and true randomness, push for passphrases. Step 2, and this is totally non-negotiable, you must continuously scan for and block any password that is known to be compromised. And step 3, block words specific to your organization, your company name, product names, that an AI can just scrape off your website.
Now, the scale of the problem is just immense, but thankfully, so are the solutions. Modern protection services can continuously screen your Active Directory against a massive database of over 4 billion, that's billion with a B, known compromised passwords. That ensures your defenses are always up against the latest threat.
So let's just be really clear here. The balance of power in this silent digital war has shifted, and it has shifted decisively. With generative AI, the advantage now lies squarely with the attackers. The old rules just don't apply anymore.
And all of this leaves us with one pretty critical question. Look, it's not a matter of if your organization will be targeted, it's really just a matter of when. So, the real question is, will you adapt your defenses before you become the next headline?